All right, so we're 15 minutes into our call here. Why don't we go ahead and hit record?
Stop holding us back, Brett. Let's record already.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit the record. Are you recording on your end?
Do it. You won't.
Welcome back to season 3 of Dads Meet World. I am one of your two dads, Tyler, and with me is...
You know, you take the joy out of everything.
I'm dad number 2, Brett.
Wow, that felt a little rude. But also nice to hear from Jason this season, because this is the point where Jason kind of just disappears and is no longer ever mentioned ever again.
I know. He was the best friend for... He was Eric's best friend for years, and now we'll never hear of him again.
Mm-hmm. I always... If I didn't mention, this is the Dads Meet World, or the Boy Meets World podcast. We go through it episode by episode, taking it from a dad's perspective. I didn't say that right off the bat. But, Brett, I always feel like Boy Meets World first episode, it's almost like a new pilot in a way. Like, it's like, okay, now this is the story for this season, and all the stuff for last season doesn't matter. Yeah,
it's each season, they're kind of starting with a soft reboot. Season 1, here's the show. It's a family show. It's about Cory discovering the world while still kind of in the nest of the family. Season 2, Cory venturing out into high school. And, he's stepping outside of the nest a little bit. Season 3, hey, guess what? Friends is popular. Let's start to make our teenagers even more grown up and give some of our adult teachers let's flesh them out a little bit more even. So yeah, kind of a soft reboot each season, especially so far.
Yeah, this season gets a little bit more adult. And for that reason, Brett, in my headcanon, and this doesn't have to be the Dads Meet World headcanon, but for my purposes of reviewing and going through every single episode, this is Cory, Sean, and Topanga's 9th grade year. Mm-hmm. I don't care what they said last season. I don't care what they say for next season. We literally have this season, next season, and then they're seniors. Mm-hmm. So at some point, you can't go from 7 1 year seniors.
Yeah.
So that's why last year I kept saying that it's middle school. It's 7th and 8th grade. And this year it's just 9th grade. Mm-hmm. So this year, anytime we talk about, because they don't mention in the actual show what grade they are in, because I think they wanted to make it a little more ambiguous. But the stuff they're dealing with feels so freshman year-like. Mm-hmm. But a freshman year where there's also a middle school attached into the high school.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, my high school was like that. Our middle school and high school were together. So you use different spaces that were used by both middle schoolers and high schoolers. So you felt comfortable being in that building by 9th grade. For schools that the freshmen are the first year they're in that building, it's different for those type of people, but I'm just taking it as it's similar to my high school experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
So for enough of that context, Brett, how are you?
Oh, that's a loaded question this season.
Or an unloaded question.
Good looking people. Tyler and I were talking about this off mic while we were getting all set up. I had my annual, we call it the mancation, because it's a group of friends and I since college, 20 some years ago. We've been using this, we've been running the same fantasy football league for this our 22nd year, and we use this time of year, we use our draft as an excuse to get together for a vacation. Just the guys. It's a 12-team league, so there's typically anywhere between 8 and 14 of us there. And this year we decided to go out to San Diego instead of Maryland, which is a lot closer for most of us. One of our guys lives out in San Diego, so we went out there. My second day out there, I got food poisoning. We are recording on Tuesday evening after this weekend, and I still have food poisoning, good-looking people. So I may be kind of mellow tonight on this recording. So
Don't worry, I'll bring the funk.
we're gonna lean on Tyler to bring the energy tonight. So food poisoning, and I really don't like airlines right now because they lie to you and they will shuffle you around to all kinds of other destinations, and they don't have great customer service. So, but I'm glad to be back home, be with my family, because they're about to head back to school themselves on Thursday this week. Two of them in high school, one a freshman, one a junior, one in fourth grade that we have an open house for tomorrow night to meet his teacher.
I always get you guys to go back early.
Yeah. We're not in Pennsylvania where we wait till the first day of, well, I guess that would be later in the year when we talk about doing hunting and stuff. But actually, when I was in school in a different county, we would have to wait until after the county fair was over because so many kids were in the fair. But this part of the state, we're going back. We got a football game already this Friday night. So
Nice. So as this is releasing, what I'm hearing is that there'll be a football game happening at your guys' school, and you'll have two people in the band playing tonight as this is airing.
as far as my calendar is telling me, yes. If I pull the right one up, yeah.
Abby and Toby, I know you guys are listening because you guys listen all the time. When we were on vacation, that's all you guys talked about was how much you love this podcast. So good luck tonight, and stay straight up in the air. Don't be slouching or anything like that. I don't know anything about bands, so I don't know how to say good luck.
You always tell people in anything remotely connected to the arts, break a leg.
I didn't know if you could use that for band or not, like marching band.
It's
if you fall and break your leg, that would be really bad.
Yeah, but it's tangentially connected, so we'll go that way. How are you guys doing, Tyler?
You just broke my brain. I don't know how to how to interpret that because I can't. Okay, I can't. We can't do that. We can't do it, Brett. We can't do it. How am I? How am I? Okay, so here's how I'll put it. I already said before that I got starting to work at a new job. So started working a new job, and it's third shift. And if anyone says to you third shift is easy, they're lying. The actual work isn't bad. The problem is that when you need to go to bed, everyone else is like, good morning. And I'm like, no, it's bedtime. And then in the afternoon / evening after you're awake, people go, blah, 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 da, 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 da. My day was like this. I'm like, my day hasn't even started yet. So yeah, it's weird, but it's fine because work isn't bad. It's not a bad company. And all in all, as long as I'm providing for my family, I could care less. Mm-hmm. So that whole rigmarole getting used to has been funky. We are recording later than we were before, mostly because I'm awake a lot longer and not as tired as I used to be. So, yeah, life is interesting, and we are getting ready to go back to school in a few weeks still. And also, fun fact, as of August 15th, there is a new member of our family, and that's all I'm going to say. It's not mine, but part of the family. So I won't speak for them. All I can say is that someone close to me had a baby, and I'm very excited and happy for them.
Okay. Well, congratulations to the mystery person, which...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brett is fully aware who it is. It's not for me to say who it is.
Yeah, but congrats go out.
Yes. So, good stuff all around. And Brett, I think it's time to get to that synopsis.
I think it is. So let's break right into it. This week, as we mentioned, we are getting into Season 3, Episode 1, My Best Friend's Girl. It is the first day of school after summer break, and Cory is fixated on, but terrified of, asking out Topanga. Meanwhile, Eric he's become the Film Society president, and the school thugs get involved. This episode was written by Jeff C. Sherman, directed by John Tracy, originally aired on September 22nd, 1995, and currently enjoys an IMDb rating of 8.1. Now, you look a little puzzled there, Tyler.
Well, just okay, first of all, 95 is always the year I say, oh yeah, that came out, in like 95, because I think a lot of movies popped onto VHS around that time. Mm-hmm. So that's when I remember seeing it. But I was just thinking, this is going into the season when Michael Jordan returned to the Bulls. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that in the wintertime, but don't worry. Anywho, continue.
So in our latest round of
vast emotional damage.
You did it again.
Yes. Last episode, when we ended season 2, we had an episode where 14.2 million people tuned in to watch the season finale of season 2 of Boy Meets World, the episode Home. Tyler, how many million people do you think tuned in for the season premiere of season 3?
I'm going to go with 18.91.
18.91. This music is fun. What's really fun is there's another full minute on this track.
It sounds like it.
You said 18.1?
Yep.
The correct answer is 19.8.
Nice.
Yes, they picked up a lot from last season. There's a lot of, you get to the end of a season, you get 22, 23 episode season. There's bound to be a lot of drop off by the end of the season. And then, a few months off, June, July, August, you come back at the end of September, school started, everyone's back in the swing of things. The Friday night lineup, TGIF is back in swing. People want to know what's coming back, and they've got this fresh new opening credit sequence. They've got this fresh new excitement, and a lot more people are going to tune. They picked up 5.5 million more viewers from where they ended last season.
Well, and we'll have to look into this. I'll look into this, but I want to say that this is around the time too that the Friday night on TGI Friday really picked up and intensified. There was a point where I remember as a kid, every show I watched, it felt like I was always seeing an advertisement for this night. Mm-hmm. So it could be one of those situations, but also, it's back to school years back again. And hey, Cory and Sean are bigger. What are they up to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got to go revisit those old friends because you haven't gotten involved in those, wrestling clubs yet. All right, Tyler, take us away.
Take me away. Take me away. Well, we start this episode off, Brett, where you would expect us to start this episode off. I was expecting a snarky comment, but sure, let's go with.
Well, see, on my end, I wasn't quite sure if you had frozen again or not.
I understand that. No, I thought you might have frozen as well. So we start this episode. This is the first time that we start a season off not in the Matthews' kitchen,
Very true,
but instead
yes.
Mr. Turner's
We are
apartment.
definitely growing up as a show, yes.
Yes, so we're in Mr. Turner's apartment. Cory's looking for Sean. Sean's still in his PJs apparently because he just wears regular clothes with a robe on as his PJs, I guess.
I do believe we saw this robe when he was staying with the Matthews.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that was that Eric's robe?
It might have been his lucky robe.
Because he said something like, "That's my lucky robe. You can have it now." Maybe that's how Sean gets things. Is he just wears them and people goes, "Keep them."
That's a smart way to do it. It's like licking things.
Cory is Cory is wearing clothes that the last 2 seasons he would not have worn.
Oh no!
Unless to go somewhere for like a special event.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wore a full blown suit for his date with Teresa. So he's wearing essentially like, I don't know, it looks like he's going to give a presentation or something.
Yeah, he's got that collared shirt with the sleeves rolled up. He's got the sweater vest. And you'll notice
and he's wearing cologne.
Yeah, a lot of cologne apparently. So much so that it makes Sean think his breakfast pizza has gone bad. And by the way, Cory's height has caught up to Sean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely grew up this season, and that's one of the reasons also that I'm like, this is definitely 9th grade, because the two of them are kind of caught up, and that's always the time period when that awkward growing period of like 6th to 8th grade, like all of a sudden people are similar heights and sizes, and or just people are more looking the way they're always going to look, essentially. So, but yeah, so Cory's like, we got to get to school. And he goes, wait, why are you so, Topanga's back.
It's tea day.
Got to go see Topanga. And so the show is establishing immediately, like, Cory has obsessed all summer over Topanga likes me, I like Topanga. Topanga likes me, I like Topanga. And I'm going to make my move finally.
Yep.
And he has made himself a nervous wreck because of it. So, and then he's going, hey, we got to get going. He goes, well, I'm running late. You know what? Let me just ask my roommate. Oh, John.
I did clip this, so I thought it'd be fun to listen in.
Lateness. A problem for me once. It was, of course, until I got me a teacher roommate. John!
Yeah. Hey, Matthews. Nice outfit. Job interview?
Watch. Listen, John, I'm dragging a little this morning. Gonna need some extra time. You think you could jot a note for me?
Sure, no problem.
You know, anything you want. Late. Doctor, have fun with it.
You got it.
No way. What do you write? No way.
That's right, pal. Your butt's in homeroom before that first bell rings, or TV, no way. Snacks, no way. Dates, no way. Okay?
Snacks?
I'm new at this. Now get out of here.
TV no way, snacks no way, dates no way.
Hey, I played football in high school. If I was told no snacks, I would die.
And knowing Sean and how much he likes to eat, I think snacks would be a very good punishment.
Okay, I watched as all of your children consumed only sugar products when we were together.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Your one child was not feeling good, and the first thing I saw her consuming was like Pop-Tarts and cookies. I'm like, are you sure you want to eat that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the one who will eat fruits and vegetables. Yeah, so clearly Turner he's got some boundaries that he has set and established. So that's good to see. They're not just buddy. There is an authority role there.
Yeah. No, there's definitely an authority role, but also they are close at this point. Like they spent a summer together, and they've had, when you spend your time with someone in the summer, it feels like it's a lot longer of a time period. There's a reason why a lot of people, go to camp and then end up dating someone, because you're literally with someone all the time.
Yeah.
And so they had a lot of time to get close and to build almost a big brother, little brother relationship, essentially.
Yep.
So, but I do like that he's trying to, get away with something, and he's like, no, I'm good.
Here's your note. No way.
So yeah.
Then he heads out the door with his robe and his pajama pants still on. I do have to say, I mean, I love the fact that Sean winds up. Granted, 95 not as common as what it would be today. 1995, Sean wandering the halls for that entire day in pajama pants, kind of a statement. Today, not at all. Just a fashion choice. Then, just Sean being cool.
I mean, because of the pandemic and people being on their devices, like, you had people that barely got dressed at all. And then once school was really back, they basically came dressed as they were before.
Yeah, there is a need for some dress code.
Yes.
So I will say, I was glad to see that this year Sean and Cory do not start the school year off by slamming nerds in the face with doors.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of wish that they would have that running gig of,
I felt the same way. I kind of missed that.
Yeah. But, hey, that's all right. That's season 2 humor. We're now into season 3 humor.
It's not a new school. It's a new Cory. He's got a spring in his step.
Yes. I mean, it really is a new Cory when you think about it. A little more tame of a Cory, if you will. So we're back at the school, though, finally, and we see Eric. First shot of Eric of the season, and we are just shy of peak Eric hair. Like, we're getting close. That's always one of my first comments my wife makes about Eric's hair is like how close we are to peak perfection. Because if you recall, good looking people, on the special episode that we did on My Date with the President's Daughter, she said that at that point was peak Eric hair.
Yes. Very aggressive peak Eric hair.
So we have Sean and Cory talking in the hallway, and we stumble upon and we see the new Topanga with much longer hair now.
Yes, and if Cory thought Topanga was all hair in 6th grade, Topanga is all hair in 9th grade.
But I feel that she knows how to style her hair now.
Yeah, she seems like she knows a little better how to take care of it, not just crimp it. But yeah, Cory is he's a little ball of neuroses when it comes to Topanga. And he's psyching himself out. He's going through the whole, am I moving yet? Here I go. Sean, you're still here. It's just, I miss her even more now that she's here. It's a very much, he has just built everything up in his mind, and now that it's here, he's just complete. His brain has exploded.
So I have a confession, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
This little bit that he does of, all right, I'm walking over there, and then not moving. And then saying, am I there yet?
Am I moving yet?
I can't even use words to describe how many times I've done this bit. Mostly to my wife, mostly like to just sometimes make her laugh, sometimes annoy her, but just I've done this bit virtually my whole life. I can't remember a time I wouldn't do this. Like, I would do this as a kid too, of like, all right, I'm going. Am I there yet?
Am I moving yet?
Oh, you're still here. Yeah. Mostly like if I'm laying down somewhere and like, all right, you got to get up. Like, all right, I'm up. And now I'm walking downstairs. Like, you're not walking downstairs. No, I am. I'm downstairs. Now I'm prepping breakfast. So this is a classic bit, and it's one I have no problem doing it and I have no shame over.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do like that we get another classic Cory.
Hello.
When he does actually get to move and walk up to Topanga yeah, just a lot of Cory futzing around trying to get to Topanga. I would like to just discuss Eric and the fact that no one at John Adams High knows how to use a thumbtack or a push pin. And for some reason, they think the most secure way to hang up posters on bulletin boards in the hallways and in the cafeteria is to use a staple gun. And while it's funny for the bit of Eric stapling his shirt to the board, there is no legitimate reason for him to be using a staple gun to hang up posters for the movie.
They did that as well for the Christmas dance, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, why would they do that?
Now, in my head, if I really want to work hard, I can think of I can make it a security thing where people can't just take the thumbtack out and take the poster down and maybe steal the thumbtack as a weapon, but they can still rip the poster down, and it's just a bulletin board. It's not in the wall. You can still pull that staple out pretty easily and use it as a weapon. So again, this is a community space where people can hang anything up, and if you pause it and look, there are other things hung up on that board. So other than going for the really big gag of, oh, I stapled my shirt to the board, I can't think of a good reason why Eric is using the staple gun. But he's the president of the Film Society because he needs extracurriculars on his resume for college because his grades are not good enough for college.
Your grades, my friend, are not good enough to get you a Slurpee.
Now, do you think this is a new made-up club that Feeney created just for Eric?
I think it's a possibility.
Because, like, to say that the Film Society is broke and so they aren't going to be able to show the movie seems disingenuous if it's like a consistently run thing that they have to license and agree with the, whatnot for airing it and paying for students to come in and watch movies. But it feels like almost like one of those experimental quote unquote things that Feeney is cool with doing. Mm. But again, this is the first time we hear about it, last time we hear about it.
Yeah, I think it's either one that Feeney came up with or a dormant one that Feeney revived for the benefit of giving Eric an extracurricular.
Fair.
Yes. But of course, Paint Your Wagons is going to be the film because, even though no one wants to watch a cowboy musical, no horror movies because
violent and twisted characters have no place on a high school campus.
Cue Frankie and Joey. Who
one of the best cutaways.
I have to say, yes, I have to say, Frankie and Joey seem to have really stepped out of the shadow of being lackeys this year. There's no Griff, there's no Harley. They at one point they talk about having their fingers in everything in the school when they're shaking down Eric for money for ticket sales. They blossom into their own as thugs, and so they're shaking down I'm assuming it's a 7th or an 8th grader with Frankie's patented floor lick maneuver for his lunch money. And, of course, Mr. Feeney, with his deadpan expression of, I'll see you guys and I'll see you two in detention. Well, why, Mr. Feeney? What'd you do? Something in a previous life, I'm certain.
Oh, Feeney is classic.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I'm enjoying this new confident Frankie and Joey.
Well, it's like they took bits and pieces of what they learned with their time under Harley and also Griff, because technically they are technically under Griff right now. But if Griff's not around, these two are able to manage and do what they need to do.
Yep.
I almost wonder, just as a weird thought, that maybe they didn't know if they would get Griff for this season. So they just kind of made it seem like Frankie and Joe are just on their own now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of feels like it's out of nowhere that, like, when the episode, like Griff and Harley's last episode, it feels like it's out of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, Griff's a part of this again.
Yeah, by the way, hey, he's still technically here.
But eventually, Cory eventually does talk to Topanga, and it does not go well.
Hello.
It does not. Yeah. He blows it.
He does. There's no good way to say it.
There isn't.
What just happened over there, Sean? I mean, I'm talking with you fine, but over there with the pain guy became a sea monkey. It's a bad animal, man.
Hey, guys. You didn't hear, did you?
What? What?
This year, when the bell rings, it means get to class.
The hunter boy giving you a rough time? I suggest you send a note home to yourself.
All right, George, all right. There's still a few bugs to work out, but I'm telling you, until his parents show up, I'm glad to have him. We had a great time over the summer break.
Well, the vacation is over. The relationship must change accordingly.
Oh, come on, George. You can't know everything.
How does he do it?
I love that George Feeney line. How does he do it? But he's right. The relationship must change accordingly. And it'll be a small learning curve adjusting into the school year now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's not like he's talking down to Turner. He's not saying you're foolish for taking on this student. Like, how can you do that to yourself? It's just, hey, I'm happy you guys had a great summer, but it's not summer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's now school. We need him to continue to learn and to grow, and you need to help him do that and not treat him differently.
Yep.
So it's a lesson that I think Mr. Matthews should have learned, but that's a story for a different day.
Indeed.
Yeah. So could you get to the guests in this episode?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First off, we have Eli Williams, going to be played by Alex Desire. And he's going to join the cast of Boy Meets World this year. We're going to see him throughout most of season 3. He has 88 credits to his name, playing on shows like A Different World, The Flash in 1990, High Fidelity, Reno 911, House, Mom, Scandal, Return to The Flash on the CW. And he's also done a lot of voice acting in video games and in animation. We also have Topanga's best friend, Trini, played by Brittany Murphy. And this is the first of 2 episodes we're going to see her in this season. And sadly, she did pass away in 2009. She has 68 acting credits to her name from things like Kids Incorporated, Frasier, Sister Sister, Clueless, both the movie and the TV series, Double Jeopardy, 8 Mile, probably the biggest thing that people recognize her from, Just Married, Sin City, and possibly the other thing people will most recognize her from and not realize that she was the voice of Luann in King of the Hill.
No, she was the main thing I wanted you to get to. So, because she's a solid actress and she does really great work. She did really good work after this. And I'm really excited that she's a part of this cast. And I wish she's another character that you wish was here longer, but also you wish that she as a person would have lived longer as well. So there's tragedy with this woman. But her work on the show is fantastic. And when she pops up, you're like, oh my gosh, this character.
You little
I know we'll
badger.
get to that mostly later in like what we see of her, but pure perfection.
Well, we do find out Cory continues to try to talk with Topanga in Mr. Turner's class, and he winds up saluting.
Yeah. Okay. Cory's interactions with her is so bad. Every way, it's just bad.
It is.
I saluted. We all saw.
He salutes her. He gives her a thumbs up. And every time he can't even ask her out to the movies. The Paint Your Wagon, the cowboy musical at the school. He's gone to a makeout poetry reading with her before. He's grabbed her and made out with her in his bedroom before. And he's having the hardest time asking her to go to a movie with him at the school's auditorium.
Well, in fairness to Cory, it's not just these little moments he's gotten, like it's these like he knows the moment this train gets going, he knows where it wants to go, and I think it's that end point that makes him the most nervous.
Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, he has built all of this up. He's created this monster in his head, and his brain has just exploded. Mm-hmm. And but he does finally get to talk to her at lunch in the cafeteria. We find out Topanga was away over the summer in the rainforest, which I find intriguing. It wasn't just summer camp. She was in the rainforest, apparently.
Well, if it was one of those deals where like she went to a camp, then she also did like a missions trip of some form. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I guess like she could have been doing stuff like all summer. She's an only child, so her parents can afford to, send her all over the place. Well, not deal with their own problems.
She does have Nebby.
No, she doesn't. Our kid is that she's not part of it.
But yeah, I mean, was she in the rainforest all summer? Was she just in there for a week for a trip? But either way, Topanga already has plans for the movie.
Episode has episode.
Yes. Episode has to episode.
We get to the lunchroom because a lot of stuff's going down there. Mm-hmm. And that's where Joey and Frankie are trying to position Eric to let them sell the tickets.
Oh, yes. Because they got their fingers in everything except for the Mind Club.
They don't want to be a part of that.
Oh, no.
Freaks them out.
Freaks them out.
Piece of what?
Yeah.
He profits.
Help, Joey, they got me in that box again.
Yes, and it's during this lunch that Cory takes another shot at asking out Topanga, and he finally says words. He finally is doing well at communicating, except for the fact that Topanga's already committed. Although I will say he tries to explain the whole saluting by saluting other people because there's a thing after they walked away or after she left. But Topanga reveals that she's going with someone else. That's why he's acting awkward. Which I think this is a point to talk about now. We'll have something later on in this episode to discuss this more. But the fact that she thinks Cory's acting weird because she was already asked out by somebody else would insinuate to me that Sean already asked her out, not that day, but maybe a few days prior. Like, have her, her Friday already figured out, so that way he knew that they didn't have to worry about her going with somebody else.
I don't know about that, because he asked her what's going on Friday in class, and she said, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, there's not a great indication of the gap between class to
There's
lunch,
not.
because we really go from classroom to lunchroom. And I know we do that all the time in the show, but technically you're right. It could have been after class that Sean asked her, just so that way it made life easier for Cory. Regardless, we learn later on that Sean did it for the right reasons, but yes, we find out that Sean betrayed Cory in this moment.
Yes.
Which leads to one of my favorite transitions in the whole show. We leave the lunchroom, and all of a sudden we're back at Turner's place, and it's Eli walking in, and he says, "It's okay, Hunter, don't get up." And then those two are chit-chatting back and forth. Eli's looking for a job. He's overqualified for all the jobs he's applying to. And then all of a sudden, Cory runs in, and
You don't believe in knocking? I don't believe in anything anymore.
oh yes, so he storms in. He says, "All right, where is he?" Right in front of his face, and he goes, "Ah, I found you."
I love that.
Don't you believe in knocking anymore? I don't know what to believe anymore.
Oh yeah, I love it, and I like the way that I do like the way that they bring in Eli. All four of these guys in here. I clipped most of this conversation here for us.
You do not ask out your best friend's girl. Am I right?
How long you been dating her?
Never. He didn't even make a move. Yeah, but I was going to.
Yeah, this sounds like a clear violation of the gentleman's code of dating.
Yes!
Well, you see, a true friend doesn't ask out a girl that his buddy likes or is just broken up with. Right, John?
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, there's always exceptions to that rule.
Yeah, and would one of these exceptions be a certain Miss Cynthia Hart?
Eli, will you let it go? Man, that was 10 years ago. Besides, you dumped her for that Spanish transfer student whose only word of English was yes.
That was my favorite semester.
Okay, so that
doesn't make a difference.
Start trouble with me, pal.
Knife in the back here. All I did was ask out a girl who didn't have a boyfriend. Which reminds me, I think I'll go call her and firm up plans.
I love Cory's little yes there as he feels vindicated. But it also points out there's no matter what show or what movie you watch or what you read, there's always these unwritten rules that wind up being the gentleman's rules of dating or the bro code or man laws, whatever they are. There's always some sort of understanding when it comes to relationships between men. You don't date someone your best friend is interested in.
Yeah.
You don't make a move on someone that your friend is interested in or has just dated or is related to. There's always something in that wheelhouse. And on the surface, Sean very clearly violated this most basement tenet of male relationships here. And we find out that John did the same thing to Eli, even though Eli was just as Eli probably wasn't as committed in his connection either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just feels like one of those things just to mess with each other about.
Yeah.
Because clearly Eli wasn't emotionally connected to the situation. It was just, hey, I dated her. You can't date her now.
Yeah. It's a little bit different, but.
Yeah, just a little bit. But also, like, there's something about when two teenagers have a disagreement and they get two adults who also are in a similar disagreement and they feel justified and vindicated.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, poor Sean is the only real innocent one in this situation because he's trying to just help out his friend. He can't tell his friend what he's doing because if he does, it's going to ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sean, I think, has learned since prior experiences, if I say things too much out loud, what my actual desires and plans are, they get ruined.
Yeah.
But if I keep them to myself, they happen.
Mm-hmm. If I tell Cory what's going on, he's gonna blow it up. He's gonna mess it up.
If I tell my best friend, he's gonna ruin it. If I don't tell him, he's angry at me. I'm in a real pickle.
Yeah, I'll take a little anger. I can deal with it.
Oh. I was just thinking of what that radio show advice column was.
Dear Abby.
Dear Abby, yes. I feel like a real Dear Abby moment.
Yeah. I do love when Cory storms off into the closet and Eli is, anyone going to tell him he's in the closet? And Cory walks out with his sweater and I'm taking back my sweater and Eli's just impressed. Nice.
Like, yeah, that's the whole reason I went in there. Don't you know?
Nice save.
I love the addition of Eli this season. Alex Dazer is fantastic.
Well, he adds another dimension, another level to the show that's different and unique, and it's helpful.
Yep.
Because again, as young people grow, there's bound to be other people that they relate to and can help them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do I like it because there's not so much of a parental involvement? No. But this is the show we have.
Yeah. So we get to go to the Matthews kitchen and actually see a parent.
Why did I even ask a woman? They only bring you heartache.
Well, this one brings dinner every night, a roof over your head, and there was that little giving birth thing.
Mom, that's getting real old.
Yes, so Cory comes in and goes, Mom, do you think opposites can attract? I think Amy thinks that she's talking about, do you think I could like a girl that we have nothing in common with? And she goes, well, yeah, me and your father actually didn't have a whole lot in common. He's like,
yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason to think Amy's in on this whole scheme here. She's just trying to be honest with her son.
Well, she's trying to take the encouraging approach as well of like, well, I mean, let me support you in the way I think you want to be supported. It's like, stop it, Mom.
Yeah, it is good to see. We didn't see Cory go to Amy a lot for advice last season. And it's good to see him go to her, even though it's she happens to be standing in the room when he walks in. It's more of a moment of convenience. It's still good to see him seek out advice from her in that moment.
Right, or at least I'm showing those moments, which is also good.
Yes, I do like that. I don't like the fact that we don't see Alan at all in this episode, but I like the fact that we do see Amy at least represented.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either. Although I do like that Eric tries to be a good big brother and talk to his brother.
Yeah, I clipped just about the entire Eric conversation because, I'll play it and then I'll tell you all why.
You know, Cory, a little song comes to mind that might be able to help you through these tough times. Topanga's going out. Wish on. Topanga's going out. Wish on. Bite me very much. Now listen. I still don't believe Topanga really likes Sean. In fact, I'm gonna call her and find out. Yeah, why don't you just take the cordless up to the roof so after you talk to her, you can jump? You're really hurting, aren't you? That just takes all the fun out of it. I've never felt so horrible before. I mean, I'm sitting here like this, and she's out there having a good time. Makes no sense, Eric. I gotta talk to Topanga and find out where I stand. Look, Cory, I got about 10 seconds of sincerity left in me, so don't interrupt, all right? Ask a girl what she's thinking, she'll feel cornered. So what do I do? Ask her best friend. Straight answers, no pressure. Time's up.
This conversation really encapsulates where Cory and Eric are in their relationship as brothers.
Yeah.
Because we've got Eric needling Cory with the whole Topanga's going out with Sean song. You've got him really getting in dark with, why don't you take the cordless up to the roof so you can jump? And then you've got him realizing his brother really is in pain. And yes, he makes the joke, that takes all the fun out of it. But you see in that moment where he realizes his brother's in pain, and so he decides to be there for him and listen to him, and then give him actual real advice that will help him. Not give him some bad advice that will send him out and give him even more drama to deal with, but gives him some solid advice, someone else to go to seek out information from. And yes, he does put a time limit on it that he's got only a few seconds left of sincerity, but this 60-second window here is a fantastic representation of what it is like at times to have that big brother, little brother relationship growing up. Now, I was the big brother often, so I often would be in Eric's shoes. So I clearly at times I was needling my younger brothers, and at times I was offering advice. But how was your relationship with your brother Tyler? Did he ever tell you to go take the cordless up to the roof so you could jump off when you were done using it?
No, we didn't have those type of jokey fun back and forth this time at my life. It was mostly I would be texting people because that was a thing when I was still young. It was simple T9 texting, and I'd get conversations with my brother that went like, "Who is texting you this early in the morning?" So those are my advices that I would be given from my brother at the time. So we'll leave it at that for right now.
There you go.
So yeah, this nice genuine moment for at least a few, basically a minute of, hey, I do care about you. This is the best advice I can give you. Take the advice. Mm-hmm. So we have a hard cut, though, to finally introducing ourselves to this character, like not just being on screen, but like being an actual character. And she is a hot mess of a person.
Trini.
Like struggling to open ketchup, struggling to put ketchup on fries. And it drives Cory crazy.
Let an old ketchup slapper help you out.
Yeah, it's one of the situations where there is years of pent up frustration over this girl.
Cory clearly does not get along well with Trini, and Trini knows it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think everyone knows. I think everyone knows that Cory does not like Trini. Honestly, she could be a reason why those two weren't very close at a certain point. Maybe Trini moved and they became super close, and Cory's like, I don't like her, and she's like, I don't like him. So now they're teenagers, it's different and weird because that's what it's like when you're teenagers. But just this whole situation is just ridiculous. And of course, he wants to talk about Topanga, and she avoids it because she's part of the plan, and is able to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're asking me out," and he's just kind of like, "Sure."
But no dinner before the movie. Cory won't be hungry after watching Trini eat.
No,
do.
Now I have to wonder: is this like that night? Like they're going? Like I don't understand.
I'm pretty sure Cory
already bought his tickets beforehand.
I don't think it's that night. I think they still got another day beforehand.
Yeah.
I love in the background that we see Eric practically get thrown across Chubby's.
Yeah. I forgot to bring this up before, but after the whole Sean, he finds out Sean is going out with Topanga and all this chaos is happening. Cory kind of looks up to the skies and says, "Give me a sign. Help me to understand what I'm supposed to do." And all of a sudden, a seventh grader slides forward. "You call this a sign?"
Be there or be dead.
Yep. But good times all around.
So we have Mr. Blue and Mr. Brown in the back room at Chubby's, where normally they shoot pool. Yes.
Which I do have a comment for deep dives about that and why they are referring to themselves as that.
Oh, excellent! I was hoping you did.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a minor complaint about Mr. Blue and Mr. Brown selling out all the tickets to the show. Because if they sold out all the tickets to the show, why are there still tickets in their briefcase full of money?
Because it looks good.
But they sold out all the tickets. And it doesn't seem like they told Eric what the show that they're selling tickets out to really was. He didn't seem to know. But I do like the theater set. The auditorium that they're using.
Mm-hmm. It looks really nice. I like how we jump cut to that situation. Like we there's not a lot of scenes but we spent a good amount of time at each scene when we're there, and then we hard cut to, and now we're into the next thing as quickly as possible. And you would think that if it was sold out, then they would have started the movie, let Feeney leave, and then start the other movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, they might
run interference, make it clear that, get Feeney out of the way, something. But
they might have been afraid that Feeney was that someone would tip Feeney off to the fact that it wasn't really Paint Your Wagons that was going to be shown if the room was full.
Yeah,
who knows? But they're going to show. Mr. Feeney does not like the Mime Club either.
No one likes the Mime Club. And the fact that I know people who have done miming. The fact that these people are committed to always be doing miming is just ridiculous.
Yeah, how do you go to class and participate?
You can't. Although it's an art, so I guess you would say break a leg.
You would. And then you'd use an invisible cast.
Yes.
But they're going to watch Texas Gut Suckers Part 5.
Yeah. That definitely sounds like a real title.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yeah, they open the doors. The auditorium is filled, which you would think that Feeney would have seen that, but whatever. Episode that's the episode. And Cory and Trini find their seat somehow right beside Sean and Topanga.
Well, I think I think Sean was intentionally getting a seat there with open spots, and Cory really is looking for open seats there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you also get the feeling like he wants to sit by them to ruin the date.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, the fact that Sean says one thing and Cory's immediate response is, "Do you want to go outside?"
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they start a cartoon. Sean starts, treating Topanga like a date. And Cory then starts to treat Trini like a date.
Little badger.
Yes. Cory tries to kiss Trini.
Gets gummed.
Bubble gum. And it blows up in his face. I
do love the move Sean does to precipitate that by just starting to fill his mouth with Tic Tacs. And I'm gonna bring up another quote here because I'm just gonna play it.
And now, here to introduce Leon's Revenge, the man you've all been waiting for. He played Leon the Gutsucker in parts 1, 3, and 4. Here he is, direct from the pits of hell. Your worst nightmare! Come on! Here he is!
Boo.
It's finished! It's been to the car, Mr. Brown!
Not until I find out what that monster's done with Leon.
Mr. Feeney, there's a very good explanation for this.
I'm sure there is.
Really? Because, see, I was just kind of winging it.
It's Mr. Brown and Mr. Blue, and then it's Eric. And
yeah,
good-looking people, it's a visual moment for Eric, and it's a visual moment for Mr. Brown and Mr. Blue, because Frankie's ire at Mr. Feeney has done to Leon. He does not want to be moved until he knows what Feeney has done with him.
Yeah.
And Eric's facial expressions change like 3 different times when Feeney turns to look at him when he says, "I was just kind of winging it."
It's one of those moments of like, seriously, you thought you were going to get one over on me? You didn't think I was going to notice? Like, this was really poorly thought out.
Mm-hmm. You were trusting Frankie and Joey.
And I also like that he's like, not until I find out what that monster's done with Leon. Leon is the actual name for Frankie's father. Because it's not Francis, it's Leon White. I know we've talked about that before in the episode that no one watched, but Vader is his father.
Yeah.
So, which makes me wonder, where did the actor who plays Leon go? Did something happen to him? Did Feeney stop him? You never check your guts.
You never check your guts.
But then, Brett, we get to probably the most important part of the whole episode.
Yes.
And that is Topanga calling out Cory for his bullcrap.
Yep.
And good-looking people, let me just say, I'm not a dating expert, but I know this. Sometimes you need to be called out on your attempts to be quote-unquote fly and irrational and being all over the place, and just you need to have direct conversations. And it feels like Topanga's just kind of over it. Like, I think she had intention for the only boy I'm interested in dating is Cory. He's the only one I'm going to entertain to go out with. And the fact that Cory wasn't able to have a direct conversation with her led to all this nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, she's trying to say, will you just talk to me? And he's like, I can't.
Here in front of all these empty chairs.
Yeah. But it does almost feel like he forgets that it's just the two of them, and he's seeing all the other people fearful of what's going to happen afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like their entire history and even the worst things that he's done to her is all front and center, and not just, hey, we're two friends who really care about each other and want to see what else can be. Mm-hmm. So probably the most important line he says to her is, if I had to dream up the perfect woman, she wouldn't even come close to you. Would you be my girlfriend? She kisses him happily and goes, yes or no? But I think it sets up of an understanding of the way Cory thinks of her, of she's more than just the perfect person. She is the perfect person for him. Because throughout all the nonsense over the last 2 seasons, the times probably that he's been the happiest, and also the times that he has been most alive, is when he's been with Topanga.
Mm-hmm.
And as much fun as he's had with the girls, as much as he has enjoyed being with them, she is the one he is most interested in.
Yep.
And probably feels most like himself.
Indeed.
So, by the way, these are really intense emotions for these young people to be having. So if your kids are having these type of emotions for someone else that's around the same age as them, be very careful as parents. That's all.
Yes.
Brett, you have teenagers. How do you feel about this whole situation?
Oh, as a dad, it's always very... What word shall I use? You don't want to see your kids grow up at the same time as you want to see them grow up. You always want to view them as your little kids. And to see that kind of an emotional bond form, you always feel like it's too early. And you don't want to see them rush into anything for fear of getting hurt. And so, I do genuinely worry for my children that I don't want to see them rush into anything as quickly as what I would say I could see here. The one problem that Hollywood has, well, not the one problem, but one problem that Hollywood has shown over the years, and one problem that does tend to show up a lot in Boy Meets World, is the idea of throwing this word of this idea of rushing to declare love openly and loudly and broadly without thinking things through. And later on, we'll see Topanga really push back against that a little bit. And when we get to that, we'll have deeper discussion about it. That's not wrong to push back against that and to think through. And so as a dad, yeah, I want to see my kids happy. I want to see them joyful. I want to see them find someone that makes them feel comfortable and makes them feel safe and makes them feel loved. I also want to see them find someone who knows that love is more than just something they feel. And so wrapping it back around in my food poisoning addled head into what I may or may not have already said, as long as my kids are able to articulate that love is not just an emotion, I'm happy. As long as they find someone that can articulate that same thing, I'm happy. If not, I'm locking them in their rooms and they won't get out until they're old enough to get married.
That's literally the start of almost half of the fairy tales, right?
Yeah, but I live in Ohio. We don't have fairy tales. We have true crime stories.
Yes. That's okay. That sounds like the start of a true crime podcast.
That'll be an entirely different podcast.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Well, I think it's that part of now as adults watching the show of how comfortable are we with the intensity of their relationship? Mm-hmm. Because it literally goes from 0 to 1,000 almost immediately. And my thing is that this is the stage of their puppy love for each other. They're not full-blown married couple yet. We're just super adorable and just flirting with each other and exploring what it means to now be a couple, not just friends. Mm-hmm. And, outside of Sean, his most closest friend is Topanga. Topanga has always been willing to call him out on his nonsense. One of my favorite episodes that she does that is Thrilla and Philly. She is always direct with him, which is probably why it's frustrating at this time that Cory is not willing to be, direct with her, because she's always honest with him. Mm-hmm. So, but no, this is a great episode, and this is it's adorable way for two young people to start dating, especially because the two of them have been friends for years. So it's not just hey, that girl's cute, I'm going to go date her. Which is what a lot of this show sometimes is, and also what a lot of other shows are as well. Mm-hmm. But also, it's made it very clear that it's been a natural progression. It's not like the Wonder Years where the kid's like, I have always loved this girl from the moment I met her. I always knew I'd love her forever. It's not that weirdness. It's mostly a slow progression to, oh, hey, we have these feelings. Now what? So It's a great moment. It's a classic moment. It's a moment that will live in TV history forever, for sure. And I'm happy they're finally together because there's no longer a will they, won't they. Mm-hmm.
There you go. For now. Until lips.
But then we get to the end credit, Brett, and unlike past times where there's kind of just a joke, we actually find out what's going on.
Yes, we find out that Sean and Trini were in on this plan the whole time.
Yeah, Cory hugs him, so clearly their friendship has not been ruined by this whole situation. But the way that Cory acts, how unhinged he is, Cory's
emotional.
They were never going to get into a fight, because Sean has no desire to fight him. Mm. Later on, they will, but for right now, they have no reason to come to blows whatsoever.
No, Cory is just so relieved and so emotional, and he's just so happy.
Now go back there, you little sea monkey.
So So he goes back to making out with Topanga.
You little badger.
And that is now Cory's nickname, the Little Badger.
Well, Brett, that's an episode.
That is
not
an
yet,
episode.
Actually. I guess we should do this.
Well, that's this. That's the show episode.
Yes, you're right.
But first, we get to go hear some of Tyler's deep dives.
People. Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
All right. So, first things first, Paint Your Wagon. Paint Your Wagon is actually a real movie. And I say that like the way I'm saying it because I was shocked that it was a real movie. Like the series that they were talking about before, I know for a fact it's not. I don't have to look it up. I just know. But this, Paint Your Wagon, I was like, well, if they made up that movie, why wouldn't they make up the other movie? They always are making up stuff. No, this is a real, legitimate movie. It came out in 1969, rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 44 minutes. Two unlikely prospector partners share the same wife in a California gold rush mining town. Love Triangle is the movie, which is fair that they have this as the movie that they're going to watch because, you know, they're in the middle of a love triangle. Stars Lee Marvin, Clint Eastwood, and Gene Seberg. But it was nominated for one Oscar for Best Music Score for a Musical Picture. The composer, by the way, was Nelson Riddle, and actually won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Comedy or Musical. No, sorry, it was a nominee. It did not win. My apologies.
Oh.
It was a nominee for, in the 1970s, Golden Globes for, Best Motion Picture Comedy or Musical. And Lee Marvin was a nominee for Best Actor for Comedy or Musical. So yeah, real thing. Couldn't believe it. So the next movie in question is Reservoir Dogs, which I had a very hard time trying to get the spelling of this correctly, but Google knew exactly what I was looking for. So Reservoir Dogs is a Quentin Tarantino movie. This was his first big movie that came out. This was very, very popular in time, especially for college age students. One of the things I've heard a lot over my time on the internet is that a lot of people around this time who were in college had a Reservoir Dogs poster in their room, and somehow for a whole decade, more and more people came with posters and hung them on their room, apparently. Because no matter what, this is a movie that's kind of stayed in the zeitgeist for a long time, up until a little movie called Pulp Fiction came out, and then that kind of took over the spotlight for Quentin Tarantino movies. But it came out in 1992, rated R, 1 hour and 39 minutes. When a simple jewelry heist goes horribly wrong, the surviving criminals begin to suspect that one of them is a police informant. It stars a lot of famous people. Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Steve Buscemi. Quentin Tarantino technically is in it. David Steen from Home Alone. So yeah, it is a big part of the zeitgeist in the 90s. And it's not a surprise that Frankie and Joey would lean into that movie.
Not at all. Well, I was thinking of it. Nelson Riddle, the name really stuck out in my memory, so I was looking him up, some of his discography. The man was prolific. He composed with Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra. What his work was sticking out in my head, and I mean prolific. He also worked with Bing Crosby, Judy Garland, Dean Martin, Johnny Mathis. Good-looking people. If you're not recognizing these names, these were big, huge stars in the first half of last century in music. The reason that Nelson Riddle's name was sticking in my mind as a composer is a very simple ditty. It goes a little something like this.
Batman.
Nelson Riddle is the composer for the Batman TV series. It ran from 66 to 68. Yeah, a lot more stuff too. You check out his discography and on online, but yeah, the dude he's got some chops.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So one of the things we were talking about is essentially the bro code. The bro code, especially in the mid to late 2000s, became really popularized as a terminology. How I Met Your Mother and the character Barney Stinson really got that more popularized and everything. But essentially is a etiquette for friends, men mostly, who are in the same social group, and it's a way to help everyone understand of what are the rules as they are trying to go out and date, not to get married, just to get dates, because apparently that's the whole point of the bro code. Brett, would you like to hear from Men's XP.com the 29 rules that you should follow to be a bro?
All 29.
Well, there's 29 here. It doesn't mean it's all 29 total for all of the rules.
Sure, why not?
All right. We'll start with a handful, and then we'll see how this goes. All right, so the first one we have is have your bros back no matter what. You're no friend if you can't watch out for him, which is fair. To be a friend is to watch out for your friend. Fair. Now, this is where it starts getting complicated. If his girlfriend asks you where he is, you know nothing. Nothing at all. Keep his whereabouts to yourself, hang up, and warn him. So essentially that one's saying, lie. Lie for me. If you can't lie for me, you can't be my friend.
Yeah.
If your buddy assigns you as his wingman at a party, make him proud by doing your job well. He hooking up with the girl he is eyeing is your responsibility. Get on it right away. I think it's supposed to be who he is eyeing. Okay. You must do all you can to save your bro. Oh, God, I don't want to read this one, but now I can't. Okay, here we go. You must do all you can to save your bro from dating an ugly girl. Chances are that he is too drunk to even make out if that person is a girl or a guy. Oh, gosh. If you're sure he's sober, that means he can shrug off all responsibilities and try your own luck. Hotter women around. Wow. That sounds
I
terrific.
think we can safely put the rest of those ones out to pasture.
Okay, there are 4 things about your bro that you must respect at all conditions. His house, his parents, his girlfriend, and most importantly, his car. All right, let's read one more and then we'll call it good for right now. We may have to have another episode. It's just only the bro codes, but here we go. You just cannot get involved with your bro's mother or sister. It is one of the biggest violations of the bro code. A stepmother whom he hates is still okay.
Yeah, why don't we have an episode sometime that's really just taking all of these different bro codes and man laws and really just putting them to task.
It'll be a true extra credit scene.
Oh, yeah.
So the next thing is mimes. Most people are aware of this, so I don't know why I'm going over it, but I felt like it was important because, as we get older, potentially this is a dying craft. So essentially, mime artist or simply mime, or in certain areas, a pantomime, is an acting out a story with body language without using speech, a theatrical medium it's a performance art. It's designed to be specifically silent comedy in which the artist is character in a film or skit without sound as well. It can be both done live action or on TV and movies, all that jazz. I mean, most often, the best times they're used are in little small bits, like in the movie Tangled. Great opportunity for that. But we have accounts of it going back all the way to ancient Greece, ancient Romans, medieval times, and also runs in non-West theaters. The big thing that I needed us to talk about, Brett, and this may actually go into a discussion, but there's a certain trope that took me forever to get anything on it, but I knew it was a trope, and I knew we had to talk about it. So the trope is give me a sign. When a person in a TV show or movie lifts their head and goes, give me a sign. And almost always it ends with, you call that a sign? You know, it's in Bruce Almighty. It's all over the place. And even sometimes when a moment of great need, a character will cry out to God or other heavenly beings for some kind of sign to show them what they are to do or where to go, or even just to let the character know that they are not alone. Often God is perfectly happy to oblige. The sign can be subtle or it can be much more obvious. Just a couple of examples is there's a time from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed, Cheers. Daredevil apparently had multiple moments of this. Life in Pieces, Lost, NCIS. One of my favorites that popped up was from Power Rangers SPD, because there's a character that's kind of like a monster who was considered an alien in that season. And he's like, just show me. Am I doing the right things? Am I, giving up the Power Rangers? Was that the right thing to do? And all his things just kind of fall apart and don't go the way he wants it to. And he goes, that's a good sign. I tried to find that clip, but I could not. It happens in Young Sheldon. One of the probably the best examples of this, and you can't find this clip online, is from Bruce Almighty, where Jim Carrey is saying, send me a sign, and there's literally a sign every couple of feet and whatnot, and he's just like, what is happening right now? But yeah, this trope of give me a sign, there's a part of me that both loves it and also gets annoyed with it, because I feel like it happens a lot, but also not as much. So it's one of those deals where it's not talked about as much in the general vastness of tropes, but it is definitely a trope.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that, Brett?
I think it definitely has become a trope where, it's something that we all do. We all seek to have some sort of confirmation, and so it's easy to ask for a sign. And I think it has become common enough to become a trope.
But those are your deep dives, Brett.
All right. So let's then move on into...
You know anything about the Odyssey? Huh? Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
To what did we learn today? I know that you tend to like to go first, or that you like to complain that I make you go first, so I'll go first. Very simple. Be bold, be firm. If you aren't, others are going to dictate what paths your lives take. Because if you don't, if you don't get out of your own way, then other people are going to make choices for you. Whether it's in dating life, whether it's in academic life, whether it's in how you are handling things at home or at school. If you don't have the conviction to make your own choices, then you're going to let someone else make them for you.
Fair. I was thinking about what Feeney had said to Mr. Turner about remembering that summer is over and stability, consistency, and what the expectations are, and balancing your work as a teacher and balancing of being the parental guardian. And I think for all of us, especially when school year starts, is having that balance. We've been working with our son because he stayed up later throughout the summer, sometimes much later into the night than what we would want to, but just because of convenience, we're like, all right, sure, whatever, that's fine. But,
yep.
He needs to have a consistent bedtime during school year, school nights, because if he doesn't, he's a monster. So trying to help him with that is crucial, and it's key. And understanding as a parent, that's part of our responsibility, is to help them with keeping balance. So if you don't have balance as a parent, your kids can't have balance as well. So
indeed.
So yeah,
I like it.
Go into grades then.
Yes.
I'm right.
No, you're exactly right.
So am I done with my education? Can I go?
So Tyler, what would you give back to school? That's a wrong season. My best friend's girl.
Due to the context of some of the jokes that were made that were unnecessary, and also I'd add into the fact that we don't see Alan whatsoever this episode. I have to give this episode an A-. I had to knock it down 2 little parts because if I didn't, it wouldn't feel right. Because not having Alan there is not good because he needed more adult help, I think, and he didn't listen to his mom. But also for the jokes that they made about Coach Franklin, I wasn't a huge fan of. So, A-.
Yeah, I've got it as an A- as well, and pretty much for the same reasons. No Alan, no fatherly wisdom, very minimal motherly wisdom. I would credit that it was there, but and yeah, some jokes that just low hanging fruit, and would have liked to seen a little better from them there. But
now,
on the whole,
if you had asked me last year or the year before that, what do you think of that episode? I probably would have said A+. But taking a little more critical of a lens, it's not fair if I just give it an A+, because
well, there you go.
Just doesn't. So I think that's been an episode, Brett.
Almost. You owe me a dad joke.
Well, you got to hit the music first.
I don't have music for a dad joke.
Well, don't we normally get? Oh, never mind.
That's after the dad joke.
Oh, fine. It's only we've only done this now, for a whole year. So eventually, you'd think I'd understand what we're doing
53
here.
53 episodes in. The music comes after the dad joke.
Fine, Brett. Why was school easier for cave people?
Why was school easier for cave people?
Because there was no history to study.
There you go.
Yes, and for that, dear listeners, dear good-looking people, that is the first episode of the 3rd season. Brett, we got a bunch of social media places that people can reach out to us about. Do you want to tell them where they are?
Sure. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter/X at dadsmeetworld. You can email us at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com. And you can find us over on YouTube at Dads Meet World. And hey, who knows? You might even find us on TikTok one of these days. So check us out there.
Let us know if you want to start doing TikTok dances.
Yeah, Tyler will do all those TikTok dances for you.
Oh, yes. So, Brett, it was wonderful to talk with you. Wonderful, as always, to have another episode.
Right back at you, Big Daddy. Because who's your pod daddy?
And I'm happy that we're finally have Cory and Topanga dating.
That's right. Can't wait for that to last forever.
Well, as always, good-looking people, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time, good-looking.
They want you to take the roles!
They do! They want you to take the roles!
How can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid?
You can find Dads Meet World on Facebook, Twitter, and probably a few other places just by searching for Dads Meet World. Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios. Tell your story.
No. Well, sorry, I thought you had more to say. That's why I was chewing on Pop-Tart. Sorry, I was just trying to read through the notes to figure out where we were. So, yeah. Okay, try again. Please head that. So,
and who is she going with, Tyler?
She is going with Lips Waterman.
You're about 19 episodes too early.
No, apparently Sean has decided to ask out Topanga. Sean. That's Sean.
Dun, dun.
Technology is so much fun. Sometimes much later into the night, All right. Sorry.